Welcome to another electronic video. Okay, the first thing that I am working on here is this contraption here. I started with the high voltage meter, which is sitting over by the scope that Don gave me. And the glass was loose in there and it was hitting up against the meter. Now, I had one hell of a time taking that out, and I was kind of sorry I did, but it worked out all right. There was 3 little screws. I'll show you. All right, I had to do a Rube Goldberg. I used Duco cement, and what I did is I took off the wire, which was hooked underneath these 7/16 nuts here. I removed the top nut, took the resistor, which was hooked around that terminal, and the other wire that goes to your common negative here. Okay, and then you see that screw right there on the side behind the resistor? There's another one right here and another one right there. Those are super small. I was able to get them out. I had to push the resistor down so I could get my screwdriver in there. I used my small Exolite black handle job over there. I got them out with no problem, but getting them back in, they're not magnetic. They must be stainless or aluminum. I would say stainless. And the meter slid right out nicely. And the glass was very loose in there. There's like a ring that goes in that holds the glass in. When I pushed the ring down towards the front here, it didn't lock into place. It was loose. So I left it upside down and I put some Duco cement on the bottom, let that dry, and then put some Duco cement on the inside on the bottom here, on the top rather. Okay, so this is why it's upside down, because then after I got it all together, I ran a bead of Duco cement right here between the Bakelite and the glass. The Duco cement says on the label it's good for glass. Apparently, you could probably see this dark area right there? Somebody had glued that glass in from the outside at one time. So it has been worked on. So if I'm careful and I don't push on this, it should stay in place. This is going to dry overnight. And as you can see, there's not much to this. It's just a simple high ohmic resistor. One for the 30,000 volt and one for the 15,000 volt. So when we get done, and this is dried up by tomorrow, I'll continue on this video and be working on the rest of this unit on the other 3 pieces that are in the case. So we will come back on this when we get started on the next unit in that case. Okay, it's not a very good angle. I'm not very good at these sort of things, as you know. Okay, so we're starting on the substitution tester. That's what they call it here. So we're going to work on this. I've already did the high voltage. The meter glass was loose and it was laying on the meter bezel inside. It didn't seem to be hitting the needle. So I managed, as I showed you on the video just a few minutes ago, that I had to take the meter out, successfully got it back in, didn't damage it, which was a wonder for me, and used Duco cement, which is made for glass and plastic. And this is Bakelite, so that should be okay. I wouldn't trust putting pressure on this. I don't think it'll hold that good, but I could be wrong. So this unit here is taken care of. We're going to take out this unit here now, and we're using the JVC, so we are on HD. So unfortunately, it'll be a big file size, as always. But now these are wood screws, and they come out very easily, so this has been taken apart a number of times. I may have to put in some wood dough or something in the holes in the wood itself, so that they'll grab a little better, because they're really just laying in there. Now, one of these units takes a 6C4, not sure which one. It might be this one, but I'm not sure. And we'll want to examine it and see. This particular item, of course, is obsolete. I mean, nobody does TVs anymore. Alright, well, it definitely needs to be recapped, as you can see right here. So we will do that. Now this particular unit has a speaker in it, a good size one too, and magnets. Yep. It's not powered. There's an audio output transformer here. It's got two electrolytics, but I do not see a place for power to come in. We'll have to study that. I'm sure there isn't any documentation on this. This is the made by Oak Ridge Products. So we're going to do here is we'll get this rest of this unit off the bench here. Okay, so Model 101 substitution tester, but you've got a potentiometer here that has a resistance up to 2 meg, right here where my thumb is. Thumbs were invented before pointers. I'm not quite sure what's involved with this, but I don't understand why it has electrolytics, high voltage electrolytics at that. $40 microfarads, 150 volts, and this is 30 microfarads at 450 volts. It don't make sense. And you got two capacitors here. I can't see replacing these. Because there's no high voltage involved on this board. All this is audio. There's no place There's no rectification, no diodes that I can see. So I just don't know. It's a mystery. There's not going to be any information on this, so I'm not even going to try to get a schematic for it because I doubt very highly they are available. And the paperwork that I have does not include any schematics. Okay, I sprayed the potentiometer with deoxide and the switch here. So that's all cleaned up. There's no point in recapping this because it probably is not going to get used. From what I understand by looking at the front, you've got a minus and a plus here, and I think what you'll probably do is to feed B plus into here. But there's no amplification here. All it is a speaker and an output transformer. But for some reason it's got a resistance ranges here. And this potentiometer here goes from 0 to, it looks like 2 meg. My eyes are no damn good. I think that's 2 meg, and then it goes up to, I can't read that. 2 meg here. Okay. So, I gotta clean this switch, it's so hard moving. I wiped it down with a little Windex on a cloth, and the grill here needs to be taken out and painted, but I'm not gonna. I don't have any gloss rather black. I'd have to go out and buy that. There's no point in putting electrolytics in it, just don't make sense. Never gonna get used. So I'll just leave these in, keep it original. And we'll work on the next part of this unit. The way these are mounted in, the holes are a little bit worn out over here. So we'll just put it back in for now and move on to the other ones. Alright, we're going to take this one out. This one has a power cord, so it's going to have probably electrolytics in it, some sort of rectification. And the other unit over here will also have similar setup because it's got a power cord, so it's got to have some sort of a rectification and filter caps and so forth. So, can't see that. What I normally do, and I may do that on this one, I don't know yet, is I don't like slotted screws. The screwdriver is always sliding off and you can scratch the surface. I replace all slotted screws with Phillips. I do that on all my ICO test equipment. The first thing I do is I go to the hardware store, match up a screw, and get it in Phillips. I don't like slotted screws. I have scratched up panels quite a few times in the years past. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Oh, we got 2 6C4s. This is interesting. Yes, this would definitely have to be recapped. This is going to be involved selenium rectifier, I would have to check these tubes. Oh, this is a signal generator. common audio video. That turns a little hard. I'd probably have to clean that. Oh, what do we got here? There's that magnifying glass. Here it is. That's the modulation that clicks. That is weird. That appears to be a terminal. I don't know. It looks like it's got the wire, power cord going right in there. But it says MOD, which is modulation, but it behaves like a power switch that continuously goes back or forward. It don't seem to be a switch. I'm not sure. Got our B&K meter up here, and I've got my variac. I got this on the variac, and we're going to bring the power up slowly. I can't get at the positive end of this big electrolytic here. I cannot. It's crowded in there. I cannot get at it. So I could probably go on the plus of the selenium. Which is right here. Okay, what I'm going to do now is put it on the variac and see how much current it draws. It's not really the right way to do it, but we're going to see if we get any action out of it at all. So hang on. Okay, I know you can't see everything here, but we've got the B&K. I like this because you can really see the display. And we've got the variac. Take my word for it. I got the variac going. I'm going to crank it up now. No current draw, 87 volts. But now off the rectifier, we've got 84 volts. But no current draw whatsoever. So, the tubes are cold. 86 volts now, 87 volts going in. We got 103 going in. B plus from the selenium rectifier is now 98.3 volts. So no current draw and only B plus tells me that the electrolytics could be open. They can't be leaky, because if they were, it would be drawing some current. And it also tells me that both tubes could be burned out right here and here. It's possible. Don said it was 6C4. I take it they both are. I know I got one 6C4. I probably have two, but I got to go hunting around. So, no current draw. We are now exactly 115 volts, no current draw, 107 volts coming out of the selenium. Tubes are not lit. Okay, so it's could be the tubes are burned out. Very unlikely the filament winding is burned out in the power transformer. What usually happens is the secondary windings can go open or shorted. If it was shorted, it would be drawing current. It isn't drawing any current whatsoever. And the primary could be burned out. Of course, the primary is not burned out because we are getting 109.5 volts B plus right now. So, let's stop the camera. Let's go take a magnifying glass and see what these tube numbers are. Okay, even though the internal construction is different, using my magnifier iLope, they are both 6C4 tubes. So I'm going to test them now. I'm hoping they're burnt out, because if not, then there's more problems in that thing than I realized. So I'll be back. Well, it lights in the tester. Grid emission's bad. But it don't light in the unit. Alright, here's the second tube, 6C4, lights in the tester. I rotated for shorts, there isn't any. No grid emission. Tube is good. So, it don't light in here. But off camera, as I said, I will clean the tube sockets and come back on this video when I get the results. And if it's still the same, we'll just put it back in. If it does come on, then we'll leave it out on the bench and we replace the electrolytics and the selenium rectifier. But that won't be done on video. Okay, now they're lighting. I guess the sockets were dirty. We're getting both tubes are lit. I don't have the meter hooked up yet. Can you see that? I don't know. That's showing up on the video. Not drawing any current, analog or digital. But okay, so we'll replace this electrolytic. This is going to be a job getting in there. Although it wasn't drawing any current to speak of, it still isn't. Faint light on that tube. I'm off camera again as always. Okay, so both tubes are lit. Yeah, it's a very faint glow in this one, a more strong glow in this. They're very warm, so they're definitely getting B+. I'll probably change the selenium, but maybe I might not. It's a mystery as to what this thing is, because it has the power cord going to it, as I showed you. Alright, so we're going to move on to the last unit. Again, this video is not the actual repair, it's just checking out, other than cleaning the contacts and so forth, and the tube sockets, and the switches and stuff like that. any other repairs will be done off camera. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Okay, before I can put this in, I had these 2 blocks fell out, so I glued them back in, these corner blocks that screw down so you can mount the thing in place. And some of these holes are pretty worn out. I'll deal with that at another time. I could probably put something in there, tighten them up a little bit. It's, you know, sometimes when you put the screws in, I think when I had this out, I had the not on camera again. One of the screws just kept spinning around, so we'll work with that. The last piece that I'm going to be working with is this one right here, but I'm not going to do that until I get this taken care of. So we'll be back on the video when this dries, and I'll pull this out and we'll give this a check out. Okay, these 2 blocks fell out, so I had to glue these in. These are okay over here. And this is the unit I pulled out. Now, this is the one that says it needs a 6C4. I thought it was the other ones. This is a 6J6. I marked on the corner of the chassis 6J6. I don't have any information on this, so I'm assuming that's correct. And I would assume that the 6C4 goes in there. So I will be putting a 6C4 in there. This one is basically the same setup with the selenium rectifier. It has more caps in it. These 2 caps are 0.1s at 200 volts in parallel. That's the way it was. The same type of electrolytic and so forth. I have not fired this up yet. This is the one that goes to this side. So I'm not going to fire this up on this video because I'm missing the 6C4 and I got to go through the big box of tubes to find the 6C4. I did have one in the box I got from Jewett City. It tests good, but I put all those tubes in that big box which came from Fino, so they're all mixed in there. So I really don't have a good setup for storing tubes. I have to just shove them wherever I can. So at this time I'm not going to be testing this. There may be another video on this when if I recap these, and the other one is sitting over here, the one I showed earlier, which has 2 6C4s in there. All the controls have been cleaned and switches have been cleaned with deoxid. And so is this. I cleaned the switches in this too. I may recap this. It's tough to find out if it really takes a 6C4. I'm going to assume that it uses that. I believe the it was whoever it was that Don got this from. I think he got it on eBay, I believe he told me. And so the original seller probably said that it needed a 6C4. There is no tube location information in these here, but I'm going to look through them again just in case. It may give some tube information, but I doubt it very highly. So that's going to conclude this. I got to wait for these glue blocks here to dry that I put in. I had to put back in because they have fallen out. So that's going to conclude this. there may be a show and tell on this video on this unit later on. But that's going to conclude this for now. Any repairs I do will be done off camera, and we'll come back on this if I'm successful with it. But it's something that is not really going to be used by me. It's more of a neat looking piece of equipment. I will not do anything like replacing and putting on a 3-prong cord. It also uses the switch ground method, which I don't like. But I'm not going to go in with a 3-prong cord and everything else. I want to keep this original. It's something that probably will not get used. Maybe the high voltage meter, but I've got a high voltage probe, you know, and so forth. So that's going to conclude it, folks, on this. Another video will be coming out on one of these other pieces of equipment. I got to work on this control here. I may pull that out on video. I'll see if I can find out. Don said there was a short in here. When I hold the control up, I'm able to move the trace up and down properly. If I don't do that, it seems to go from the middle down and it doesn't go up. So hopefully it's not the control itself. I have a feeling it might be. Maybe just a bad connection inside. So that may be the next project or show and tell. Thanks for watching. More to come.